Hello everybody, my name is Barefoot Bobby, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to pressure flake. And so one of my friends, Justin, picked up this rock. He liked it, looks pretty nice, and so I'm going to pressure flake this into an arrowhead. Now what I use is just a nail, so I got this nail on the stick. The process of pressure flaking is just using force to drive flakes off the rock and shaping it the way you want it to shape. Now what you need is some leather. And the reason why you need the leather is to protect your hands. It gives your hands a little cushion as well, so it's not so hard on your fingers. But I'm gonna stick this is the way you hold the leather. You put it in your hand right here like this, and then you wrap the rock inside of it. And then you take the end of the nail and you put this nail right here on the edge, and you just drive through. And you see that little flake that came off? You're going to keep on doing that till you like it. So a little flake came off here. Now to prep the rock when you first start, you just want to make ridges all the way around it. So you can just, it's basically you're prepping the rock. So you can, then after you prep the rock's going to kind of let you know how it wants to shape up, or what it's going to turn into as far as the shape. So I'm going to take a little bit off at a time, and each time I take a little bit off, I'm going to flip it and make little ridges. And once I go all the way around the rock, I didn't like that flake. Once I go all the way around, I'm going to look at it, and then we'll decide what kind of shape this is going to go into, or we'll kind of look at it a little bit more. So what I've done here is I've flattened out the sides pretty much all the way around the rock. And if you look at the edges, you can see there's a balance. If one side's high, you flip on the bottom of the high side, you flint knap down to make it a little bit more level. But if you look at the shape of it, it's starting to come up with like a shape. Now that I've got it all balanced, if you look at it, we could probably make this the point and this the back. Now what we should do is I'm going to make the back here, I'm going to make the sides here, and bring in the tip, and then we're going to look at it again and see, and basically look at the type of arrowhead that we want to make. If we're going to make it, put the notchings on the side, or if we're going to bring them on the back, or what the point's going to look like. But before we make any of those decisions, let's just start shaping the rock into an arrowhead or into like a point. So I'm looking at this rock right here, and I've put like a back on. I've decided that this is going to be the back and this is going to be the point. So I've got, if you look at it, it's pretty even. Both, there's not a high side or a low side on both sides. It's pretty much straight. All the edges are straight. Has the same thickness on the top and the bottom. It has a nice shape for an arrowhead, or the beginning of shaping the arrowhead. So I know what I want to do with it. This is the tip, and now I'm just gonna bring in the sides and form a tip on this. So I'm making the point. As you guys can see, the point's coming. I need to take some edges out and make it more of a point. But if you look, it's flat. It's a point. It's not unbalanced. It's quite balanced. It looks really nice. And hopefully this turns out to become a really nice arrowhead. Taking better shape. So I've got a basic shape. This is going to be the back. This is going to be the tip. It's balanced. The sides are straight. Everywhere around this arrowhead, it's balanced and straight. So what I'm deciding what to do is what type of back to make. I could put nocks right in here, and you can tie it to an arrow from the side. I can put nocks in here, and hopefully we can get some wings. The safe way is to come in from the side. If I really needed this, I'd come in from the side and it'd pretty much be done after I made the tip. So here's an example of a back. And then there's two different types of ways to do it. This actually has some really nice color in it. And then there's different backs you can make. Here's one. Gets raised edges. So that's kind of like what some of the backs I've made. Alright, the back, I mean, I can keep on going, but it hasn't really napped the way I want it to. But we're going to leave it. You can still tie it. It's still going to work. It'll be great on an arrow. I'm just going to balance this out, the top. And then after I do that, I'm going to put the point on. And if you look at it, it's kind of a little awkward. So I'm actually going to make the tip about right here. So I'm going to bring this side in. And we're going to have it, and the tip's going to be right there. So it'll be a little bit more balanced. Okay, it's done. This is the shape right here. It's got a spot where you can wrap it, put onto the shaft. It's got a nice sharp point. Both sides, it's balanced. Both sides, it's not oval in a bad way. It's got a sharp point. This point right here will take down an elk. If you put this on an arrow, you can go hunting with it, and you can eat for a long time.
Why don't you show them an arrow?
Here's an arrow that I made. I wrapped this with yucca. I made some natural glue to glue on the point, but this was the very first arrow, or the first rock point that I made, and I made this arrow here. This is goose. Here's a rat. We've got some glue on that is basically from sap. I wrapped here so that when you put it in your string and you launch it, it's not going to split the arrow. But I tied down the fletching. We tied the shaft so when it hits the buck, the arrow's not gonna go down the shaft, you know, and it's good to go, man. That black stuff is sap. Everything on this arrow has been made from, or basically harvested and gathered and from this area and turned into an arrow. So that's pretty much it, man. Check out my other video. I made a primitive fire. That fire right behind me was made by a couple sticks rubbing together. I'm Barefoot Bobby, and that's how you make an arrowhead.